Well, hello everyone. Hey, Laura. Good morning. All right. Excellent. So I have the chat here, and looks like we already have a couple people. So welcome to my videos. This is the lauracolorstoo YouTube channel. Mostly I do live color and chats. I also do some other things here and there, but it's mostly live chats. So today is a very special day. For all of you who don't know me, I also do Facebook events, and right now I am running an event with the Sassy coloring group, and you can find a link to that Facebook group sorry, in the description below. What we're doing today is called Christmas in July. And what that is an event where the artists in the community of the coloring, the Facebook coloring groups, get together and do giveaways and little mini events all throughout their day. And this is to sort of give back to the colorists, I think, and also for me, just a great chance to interact with you guys a lot more. So for today, I'm going to be coloring, I'm going to be continuing this page that we've been doing in the wonderful book Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlson. But before we get into that, I have a couple of special things that I want to share. So first of all, I want to share a couple of works in progress that I've been doing lately. So yesterday I had a really fun day with my boyfriend. We went to a skate park and had some fun biking, and I also did this quick little doodle. So I just got a new sketchbook, and I already really like it. So if you guys are looking for a nice sketchbook, this is the Strathmore sketchbook, and it's got like a nice soft cover, and this one is the mixed media one. Okay, then I have here, so I started a couple of works in progress. These both are from my Etsy shop. I've been working in a lot of greens and pinks lately, I guess. So anyway, there's the start to those two pages. And actually, this page is part of a giveaway, and I will put that link in the description as well. Today will be the last day for the giveaway, so don't forget to snag that when you can. And then the other work in progress. Hello, Maury. Good morning. Welcome. Maury is a regular here. Welcome, dear. This is from Fabrica Fantasy, and I'll put that, when the video is over, I'll put all of the additional links in the description below. This is from the web shop from Fabrica Fantasy, and it's a really, really nice little web shop. So those are some works in progress that I've been working on. Well, hello! So everybody, Evelyn Veritas, that's my little sister Emmy. And I am choosing today to go ahead and make her my moderator, so I gotta figure out exactly how to do that. Bear with me 1 second. Alright, well that was really super duper hard because it's already done. Alright. Oh, so Loretta said she's in the group but she hadn't gotten any notifications. I'm not sure. I am only running the group, like the event, like as a co-host, so I'm not really sure how it's set up. But that's a bummer. Hopefully everybody finds their way over here at some point. But in any case, today I started on the Facebook group a little contest. So we're having a best question contest. Oh, okay, it's an event you need to sign up for. Okay, so that's good. Thank you, Maury. So over on the Facebook group, if you're not part of the Facebook group, you can still participate in this contest. This is open to anybody. So all you gotta do is put in the chat right now. Put it in all caps so that way we can find it easier. Your best question for me. So some of you guys are regulars. You know me pretty well. So I'm guessing that you guys will probably come up with some pretty good questions. You don't have to do it right now. We're going to do it in just a minute or so. I'm going to start off by reading the ones that are already posted on Facebook so you have a little bit of time. But yeah, just go ahead in the chat, post your best question for me. I'm going to be answering. It's like a Q&A session here. And then we're going to jump right into the live coloring. And whoever gives me the best question, what you're going to win is a choice of any 4 digital PDFs from my Etsy shop. So like pages like, I'll just show you a couple of ones that I have printed out. So these guys here, any one of these pages you can choose. You can also choose pages from my book, Bluebell Woods. You can go ahead and post. There'll be the winner will get 4 of those PDFs of their choice. Alright, I'm just cleaning off my desk a little, pardon me. Alright, so I'm going to jump into the questions that were posted on Facebook. And while I do that, we can have, so that we don't just look at a black desk, we can just have that open. Alright, so I have it here. Okay, here's the start. Here's the start of all the questions. So the first question is from Anna, and she asks, what made you decide to become an artist? I honestly don't feel like it was a decision that I made consciously. I think that when I was a little girl, I loved to draw and I loved to color, like color with crayons on like blank paper. We didn't have coloring books as kids. Mom would just give us like printer paper and Crayola crayons, and we would just go to town. But I think part of it is just sort of a part of me. I've always been super creative, and I've always loved art. I've always been fascinated by art, love art history. So I think that's sort of a really tough question to answer, only because I don't really think I actually made any decision at all. I think art chose me. Okay, the next question is from Margolette, and I'm sorry if I butcher anybody's names. She asks, what's your favorite picture you did and why? And then I asked her on Facebook, I said, do you mean coloring page or painting or photograph? And she says, painting and coloring page. Okay, so for my favorite coloring page, I have a couple of contenders. I just recently completed this page here. This is actually one of my pages from my Etsy shop. I really, really loved doing that page, so that's up there. But I think I'm going to use this page here that I completed from Villain Son, and that's by Tomislav Tomic. But for the longest time, my favorite page I did, excuse me, just organizing, is this page here. This is in Grazia Salvo, and shout out to Grazia, she was the artist from yesterday. Flowers and Gems. So this was one of my favorite pages from a long time ago. But you know, we keep coloring, so those favorites change. Alright, as for my favorite painting, you guys are going to have to take a little trip with me, and we will go ahead and visit my kitty cat on the way. Hello, Abby. She's tolerating the heat with us. Okay, so this is probably one of my favorite paintings I've done in a long time. There have been other paintings that I really love, but as far as like my favorite, I think that one is probably it. Okay, back in the holster, or whatever it is. Okay, next question. Okay, this one's from Maritza, and she asks, I know Bluebell Woods inspired your book, but what made you become an adult coloring book artist? Okay, well, that's a good question. My little sister gave me my first coloring book just about a year ago. It was Lost Ocean by Joanna Basford, which is still one of my favorite books. And so I was having a pretty rough time at that time. I was just really stressed out, and so I was having a bit of art block. I wasn't really drawing as much as I normally do. Normally I try and draw every day. But I wasn't really doing that. I wasn't really painting a whole lot. And I think my little sister saw that, and so that's why she gave me that book. And it was fun because I just opened it up. I dug out my really old colored pencils that I had from like high school that I never used, and I just went to town on it, and I really enjoyed myself. And so that is what made me want to become a coloring book artist, was that feeling that I got when I started coloring was like meditative for me. I really felt like I was at peace, and I didn't have to worry about creating the design, which normally is the most stressful part for me, is like coming up with the design for the painting that I'm going to do, or the coloring page. When I started coloring, I loved that feeling. And then, you know, as time wore on and I was feeling a lot better and not so blue, I started drawing my own coloring pages rather. And it was just out of that love for the coloring community and wanting to try my hand at it. I'm a painter. That's sort of my background. So I didn't really have a lot of experience drawing line art, and it is a totally different challenge than painting. So I just embraced that new sort of chapter in my life, like a new part of me, and I really enjoy it now. I think the collaborative nature of coloring, both me coloring other people's pages and also other people coloring my pages, is just so much fun. Like, there's a dialogue that happens there that doesn't happen with like regular painting or drawing, that you just like display on your wall. So that's my favorite part. Okay, that was a really long answer. Sorry, guys. Alright, next question. So this is from Maria, and she asks, what do you like to draw and have not done yet? I like to draw just about anything. My favorite thing to draw is people, but as far as what I've really not done yet, I haven't drawn a whole lot of animals, and that's something that I love. I mean, I have a kitty cat. I love animals. So I feel like that's something that's sort of missing in my repertoire that I'm trying to fix now. So you'll see a lot of animals in my coloring work, a lot of animals in my drawings and my paintings lately, and that's why I'm practicing that particular subject matter. Okay, Holly asked what got you into drawing. Again, this sort of like is similar to the other question, like what made me to decide to be an artist. And really, I guess what got me into drawing more than anything was just I've always sort of loved it, and I've always kind of been drawing. Like when I was a little girl, I used to draw really elaborate maps. So my sister and I would play like makeup, like fantasy games. Like we would dress up in my mom's old bridesmaids gowns. I'm sorry, Emily, I'm exposing our childhood games and stuff, but we would dress up in my mom's old like bridesmaids dresses and pretend to be princesses. And so I would draw in like sidewalk chalk like elaborate maps and different like things. Thanks, Emmy. So, like I've always sort of been drawing. When we were little, I used to draw coloring pages for my little sister. So she would ask me to draw something, and then I would draw it for her, and then she would color it in. So, like, I think, yeah, I think I just sort of have always been drawing, and it's a really hard question to answer. Okay. Holly also asks, does being an artist run in the family? Yes, yes it does. So my mom, she went to art school. She knows how to draw classically. Yeah, you always ask for princesses, right? I remember that. So I learned to draw people from an early age just because my sister kept asking me for princesses. um, yes, being an artist runs in the family. Um, it mostly from my mom, but I think our grandmother and a lot of other people in our family are also artistic. So Andrea asks, what's your favorite medium? My favorite medium is acrylic. It used to be oil, but then I developed an allergy to oil paint, so now it is acrylic is my favorite. But I am quickly growing a love for markers. So I think I would truly call myself a mixed media artist. But yeah, I really love the versatility of acrylic paint. That's something that I've always loved, and that I'll always come back to. Okay. So Andrea also asks, what do you feel is the hardest thing to draw that everyone wants to color? Um, huh. I mean, I love drawing people. I think everybody kind of likes coloring faces a lot, but not everyone. So I'm coloring pages. But I do feel like people, even though I love to draw them, are still a challenge for me. So I would say probably faces. Okay, so Karen asks, is there anything you absolutely hate coloring? For her, she says it's butterflies. That's funny because we have butterflies here. Um, hmm. I guess I don't particularly like coloring. Sorry, I'm taking a drink of water. Um, I guess I don't particularly like coloring a whole lot of leaves all the time, but I have done some paintings and drawings like that. That's a tough one. There's nothing that I hate to color, but I guess I would say if anything maybe a lot of leaves. Like this many leaves is okay, but like if the whole page is leaves, I might get kind of bored with it and move on. But that's a tough question because it really does depend on the page. If there's a really interesting focal point or something that drives me to finish it, then I will. Okay, next question. Alright, so Marina asks, what do you enjoy most when creating art? I would say that I get to create whatever I want. I can make up my own fantasy world, and I don't have to adhere to any rules most of the time. I mean, there are some rules, but very little. And I think it's being able to express myself and now as a colorist, also that dialogue that happens when you click with an artist and you end up enjoying coloring their work a lot. So yeah, I think it's mostly just being able to create, to express myself. Okay, so Tanya asks, when someone buys your books for the first time, what do you hope or wish for them when they open the pages and begin to color? What feeling do you hope they get from them? For me, I think as long as the person is having fun and, enjoying themselves. I mean, for me, I don't really have any, expectation, if that makes sense. But I think really when I color, I just want to have fun. So I just wish that of the people who color my work. I just want people to enjoy themselves, have a good time. You know, whatever you use coloring for, whether it's to relax or to connect with people or whatever, what you're using coloring for, I hope that you get that out of my work, but I don't really have any, like, priority as far as that's concerned. I just hope you have fun. Okay, and then Andrea, she asks, where do you get your inspirations from to create your art? Well, most of the time I get my inspirations from my day-to-day life, even though, and no, I don't have fairies running around my backyard, although the moment I do, I might start another YouTube channel, but until then, I think, it's just sort of like I take things that happen in my life and then I create a fantasy version of that. So like I'm all, and I kind of equate this to like if you've ever like done cloud shape watching where you look at the clouds and you imagine, oh, there's a dog running through that cloud, or I think that cloud looks like a baby seal or something. Where you sort of imagine what could be out of sort of like amorphous shapes. Well, it's sort of the same thing I do with my day-to-day life. So I take the things that happen to me and then I sort of make them into a whole new story. And usually what I'll do is I'll write out those stories. So like on my Instagram account and my Etsy shop and all that, you'll find the inspiration usually, or the story behind each piece that I draw. Okay, Charlotte asks, how do you feel or what do you say when people laugh or ask why you spend so much time coloring? Isn't that for kids? She's just asking as she's had some people react that way when she spends a lot of time coloring. Yeah, I have had some people react that way. They go, well, you know how to draw, so why are you coloring? Or isn't that kind of a silly, like, you're not going to get anything from that? And my response to that is, you know, why do you breathe? Why do you eat? Why do you, you can ask them why do they do what they do, for everybody. I think whatever you want to do in your life, that's your right. We're all free people who are able to decide. You're not hurting anybody. So I tell people, I say, because I love it, and I hope that that's enough of an answer for them, because if it's not, then that's a shame for them. I don't really know how else to respond to that. I think it's a ridiculous response, because I'm sure that they have hobbies that maybe somebody would go, why do you do that? I mean, everybody has something in their life that they enjoy, that speaks to them, and none of it is more legitimate or better than the others. So. Okay, I think that's the end of my Facebook questions. So if anybody else has any other questions that they want to post in the chat, now's the time. Otherwise, I'm going to start right in and work with colored pencil on this drawing here. Alright. Alright, so what's going to happen is, I read out all the questions. Okay, so Maury has a question. What is the greatest joy for you when creating your own original art? What I love is the first couple layers of paint. After I sort out the sketching, and my sketches when I paint are sloppy and awful in comparison to my coloring book pages. I really do slow down and take my time for you guys when I'm drawing for coloring pages, but for my sketches, for my paintings, they're pretty messy and loose, and I just get the basic shapes down, and then I work most of it out in paint. So my favorite part of painting is that sort of that first mushy, awful looking painting layer where nothing is right, but you can sort of see it start to take shape. It's like the painting is being born and nothing's in the right spot yet, but all the elements are there. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my favorite part. I love seeing the magic of that, like, birth each time. Okay. So if you guys have other questions, you can go ahead. You can go ahead and throw them in the chat. If I miss it, then Emily will call my attention to it at the end. And then Emily is going to pick the winner of the best question. So she's like an impartial judge, well, as impartial as I could get on short notice. And then I'm going to go ahead and need to get your email address for sending you those PDFs. All right, so Starry Summer Girl, and let's see, let's make sure. Yep, we're still rolling. Okay, so I think what we'll do is actually zoom a little. Is it buffering? Are you guys with me still? Okay, good. Sometimes moving around the camera, okay, seems to help. All right, you're with me. So what I'm going to start with today is I'm going to work on the hair and the skin and just get in some of this colored pencil work. So hopefully you guys can see. I zoomed in so that hopefully it's a little easier to take a look at. And I've got a selection of pencils here. I've been using palette for other pages. So let's see, I'll pull a couple. And I haven't really planned this out too much, but I think we'll be just fine. And I'll call out the brand name and the pencil color as I go. Maybe this guy, and let me grab black. Yep, that works. Alright, I should just keep that handy. Alright, so I'm going to get started first with the hair. And what I'm going to do is establish, actually before I do that, I'm going to establish the highlights and shadows and soften everything. Oh, here it is. Just getting in my way. Okay. Hopefully I have everything I need, but if not, we'll work through that. Alright, so the first pencil I'm going to use is this. This is a vintage pencil. It's the Laurentian. This color is navy blue, and it's pencil number 6. I'm going to use a paper towel. Alright. So now what I'm doing is I'm just working in the shadows. I'm working with the grain of the hair bit, if that makes sense. So like, this is like a strand of hair, and I'm going to head and so wherever I am in that strand, I'm going to work with the grain of that strand. So you sort of like establish a flow to the hair that way. Alright. You guys still with me? I think we're alright. So this is a nice color, and this is like a nice dark blue. So I'm just working in the areas between the darkest shadows and the lighter the lighter areas, the highlights. I don't know why I'm tongue-tied today, but thank you guys for not saying anything. So we're just smoothing things out. Making the hair seem softer. Well, hello, Katrina. I'm well, how are you? Welcome to the live stream today. Alright, everyone. So, while I do this, I want everybody in the chat who's working on a coloring to go ahead and put in what they're working on, what book they're working in, or what artist they're working with. I'm always just curious to know what the latest is. That's okay, Loretta. Yes, I know it's early still, but unfortunately the heat wave is still here. So I am still sweating at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's hopefully the weather will break today. We're supposed to have a thunderstorm and hopefully it will clear it out. Alright, so we've got some answers. For those of you who can't see the chat, we've got Katrina working in Imagimorphia. I love that book. I love Kirby. We've got Maury, and she just finished Elves in Love from Forest Spirits by Fabrica Fantasy. Awesome. Yeah, I just started a work in progress from that book. And then and Loretta's cat is keeping her up at night. Sorry to hear about that. That's a really cute kitty name though. Meeper? Alright, so you can just see I'm sort of just working all over, just softening the lines, the transitions between the very dark areas and the lighter areas are just getting sort of a softer blend. And that's why it's not so important to worry too much about if the marker is streaky, because this stage is really where we can kind of clean all that up and make it kind of fix any little issues. It's really cute, Loretta. This book here is Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlson. Having a lot of fun coloring in it. So just creating some more details. Hope that you guys can see this okay. All right. We went from really chatty to pretty quiet. It is a nice quiet morning here. And I hope that you guys are going to have a lovely weekend. It's a holiday here in the United States. We just had the 4th of July, which is our Independence Day. So it's, everybody I think is down the beach now at this point. Oh, thank you, Katrina. Oh, wow, okay. So Maury is from Croatia, which is so cool that we could connect from so far away. Phew! Oh, excuse me. 3 pages from Phones and Fairies by the Trungles in the Works. Oak Tree Fairy by Christine. Oh, yeah, I've seen Christine Caron's work. It's gorgeous. Thank you, ma'am. Well, I hope that you can pick one and get going. I have a lot of works in progress too. I do that as well. But luckily I don't ever seem to have trouble picking. I just sort of look at them and say, which one is going, me, pick me. That's the one I work on. Yeah, I like her. I like all of her work, honestly. Yeah, but I don't have any of it yet, but it is in my wish list. So, okay, so now I think I'm pretty happy with how the navy is starting to kind of blend together. So now I'm going to swap over to my Faber-Castell Pitt pen. This is the extra small. Oh, okay. So Nancy says she's working on one of the giveaway pages that I have. So now I'm just going to work in the dark black details. So this layer is, again, you want to work with the grain of the hair. And you just want to kind of work in that detail. So you can see I'm careful to leave the highlights pretty much well alone. And just work in the dark shadows. But this helps make the hair come alive with lots of variation and detail. Hello from South, so Margolette says hello from South Africa, so that's really cool. Thank you, Maury. I hope it will turn out nice. And people have been asking me to do hair on camera for a long time, so I hope that this is the start to some nice videos to help them out. I think black hair is one of the trickiest, so that's why I chose to start with it first. Kind of knock out the hardest one. Also, it kind of just fits with the stars. Paige sort of called me to do that. Alright. Again, just working in the same direction as the hair. Just adding more detail in the strokes. Okay. So Loretta says, I'd love to do one of the pages out of the Chinese, Korean, or Japanese books I have, but I'm picky and I want to learn how to do the coloring in their art style. Yep, so everybody has a different approach. Yep, I'm not gonna do that when I have some traditional books too, but I think I'm gonna just go for it. But everybody has their own way. That's okay. Alright, thank you, Anna. I'm glad you like it. And, yeah, thank you, Loretta. We'll see. I have a couple of them, so we'll see which one I do first. I have a lot of books that I need to work in. Alright, so it's important not to overdo it with the black, because it's easy to just make this a black flat mass of hair, and we want to retain some of the dimension that we have with the highlights. So it's important to be judicious where you put this. So I'm picking the very darkest shadows and I'm just feathering it into the light areas to give it a more organic feel. In some cases, just like touching up and fixing some mistakes I've made. Now you can see here I've kind of like massacred that star, but that's okay because I can go ahead and fix that later, and you'll see how I do that. So perfection is not necessary. You can go ahead and make mistakes. I feel like the mistakes are what give a piece of art character sometimes anyway, so... I mean, if we wanted it perfectly photorealistic, I think we would just all take a photo, right? But the fun of art comes in the human element. So now I'm embellishing the ends of the hair. This is to make it feel more like there are individual strands. Well, hello, Elizabeth. Welcome. Alright, well, I'm glad to see that you had fun for that event. I've been seeing that book a lot more recently, too. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. So I'm kind of accentuating the curliness of the hair by adding more. But you don't have to do that either. You can do it however you like. I feel like her hair has like this wild, magical quality to it, so I just want to kind of accentuate that. Now I'm focusing, excuse me, I might be coming down with a cold or something with all this sneezing. You can see I'm accentuating the bottom portion of the hair. I'm not going to do too much of that wilder stuff up top, because I don't know about you, but when I have long hair, it seems to me like the underside of the hair gets more frizzy and out of control than the top. So I am going to add just maybe a couple little extra swirls or curly cues at the end of these hair bits, but not really go crazy with too much frizzies like the others down below. Just sort of adding a little more personality. Not that Hannah's work needs it, she's got so much personality already. Alright, and I'm also going to do that to some areas right around her face. I'm just kind of alright. And then, so for a little bit of extra detail, I'm just going to add a little more black to some of the shadows. Sorry, I kind of jump all over the place a little bit. Try to stay organized for you guys. When did I first start inking my drawings? That's a nice question. I really still don't ink a whole lot of my drawings. I prefer pencil over harsh outlines for the most part. But I think that's because I'm drawn to more tonal drawings than like straight up line art, even though I color line art all the time. I do, in my work, you'll see I do a lot of like light grayscale, I guess I would call it. And so I still, I guess I first started inking my drawings in high school. I used to draw some cartoons. So that was probably in like 1998. And then pretty much primarily was a painter until last year. So kind of did it when I was dabbling and doodling in high school, but then didn't do it until 2017. And you'll see my first coloring book, Bluebell Woods, is a very experimental book. I do a lot of, I don't know how to explain. Like I did some things in ballpoint pen and some things in marker or even like really thick pen. So I just sort of experimented with that book until I sort of found a style that I really like, and now that's sort of the style I've been working in. So I'm going to swap over. This is the Uniball No White Gel Pen. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. Normally I wait to do the gel pen at the end, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to add a little bit of highlights back in because the hair is almost done. I feel like I won't do too much more to it. So I'm going to add some highlights back in, and then also kind of fix some of the stars a little, so that way you'll see how I do that. So I kind of just slightly touch the gel pen to the paper, and that's how I get like that feathered, softer look. And I'm just going over areas where I feel like I just went maybe a little too dark. Like I look at where I have the other highlights. I'm also getting rid of some of the dark outlines in just some places, so selectively. Now I'm going to refrain from doing the outer edges, even though I will do that later. It's because I want to put some colored pencil in the background, so I'm going to make it easy on myself and leave that till later. So like this mass of hair, I feel like it needed a little bit just to kind of break up some of the areas that are too much black. Or where I may have messed up the highlights, like right here. Oh, well, why are you scared to do it? I've seen your drawings on Instagram. You do faces quite often, right? What I do is sometimes if I don't want to mess with the pencil drawing, I'll use a piece of vellum or tracing paper over it to ink it. A lot of coloring book artists do that, and I learned this method from Joanna Basford actually. And but most of the time I prefer just to do the work in pencil and then leave it that way. I have been sketching in my sketchbook in ballpoint pen a lot lately, so you may see some more of that in my coloring work, but we'll see. I'm sort of, right now, people seem to be really enjoying my pencil work, so I kind of want to stick with that for a little while and see how that works out. Alright, so we're just adding in a little bit more highlights here and there. And this part of the series, guys, is where my videos will slow down, and it's going to take more time. The colored pencil and the details always take the longest. Yeah, I like doing faces too. I think they're fun. Thank you. Yep, just a little bit of highlights goes a long way. Too much of anything is not a good thing. You want some highlights, some shadows, some medium tones. Even with black hair, it does need that bit of white. So now I'm going to move on into her face. Let's see. Oh, actually, is it really almost an hour? Oh my goodness. Okay, well then, what I'll do, I'll have to do the face and carry on the rest later. I'll fix these stars. That's with this white gel pen. So for the stars, I was thinking, I have a couple of ideas for these actually, but I'll do this as a temporary fix until later. I'm just gonna try and fix the shape that I may have messed up with my marker job. Yep, the others I can see. Oh, wait, this guy. And this is kind of a thick pen tip for this, but I'm just doing what I can. Now, I was thinking about for the stars in her hair, I might try this, oh, let me zoom out. I might try this, like, gold leaf kit. I've had this for a long time. I used it on some of my paintings, but I thought it might be fun to try in the stars. Oh, well, Loretta, I mean, as far as being good enough, I think we're all in the learning process, and everybody is at their own, you know, we all learn at our own pace. So if you want to try to make coloring pages from your work, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that it matters. I've seen pages out there from little kids who draw coloring pages, so I don't think that, as long as you find that you enjoy it, I don't think it matters how many people color it. I mean, there are some pages in my first coloring book that nobody has colored still, but I don't take that personal. I just feel that maybe it hasn't spoken to someone yet. And at the same time, you know, not every piece of artwork is going to appeal to everyone, so we just can't take these things personal. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. We're gearing up right now to announce the winner of the giveaway. Emily, if you could prepare your pick of the best question. Thank you guys. I'm glad that you like it. The hair is pretty much done. We may touch it up here and there as we go, but for the most part, that's pretty much going to be where it lands. What was I saying earlier? Oh yeah, so as far as what to do, what I would make sure that you do, Loretta, if you do want to make your work high quality for coloring books, is make sure to work at the size that you'd like the colorist to work at. So what I learned early on is if you work too large and then shrink it down, then some of the areas become too small to color, and it really is very difficult for people. But at the same time, don't work too small and then blow it up either, because then you won't have enough detail. Or so I would work at the size that you expect people to be coloring the page at. And also make sure that you invest in a scanner for your home. I don't have a printer, but I have a scanner. And it just saves me so much time and effort. I'm not having to go to a shop to get my stuff scanned. I can scan it right here at home on a flatbed scanner. And I think that that just speeds up the whole process as far as getting it digitized and onto the computer, so that way people can print it. Yeah, that's great. So you have both. As for if you guys if there are any aspiring coloring book artists out there who have a lot of questions for me, I can always host a separate, because I don't have enough time to like go through all the ins and outs of how to make a coloring book, but if that's something that you're interested in, post it in the comments, the chat, let me know, and I can make a separate video all about that, because I could talk for hours about that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, so it looks like there are no more questions as far as like for the Q&A. Emmy, are you there? Do we have an answer? Yeah, that's the most important part. Once I figured out a working method, I'm having a lot of fun now. I figured out the medium I would like to work in, the style I like to work in, and I have like a nice workflow as far as how to get it digitized onto the computer. Alright, the winner... Oh, I woke up my cat with that. is Andrea Smeltzer. Thank you very much for participating, everybody. Now, I have to say before we go, there is still a chance to get freebies for every single person in this chat. So on my website, it's www.laurafolio, Laurafolio, wait, Folio. That website there in the chat. If you go there, there are 2 free coloring PDF pages available that you can go ahead and download and print for yourself and color. So Andrea, I'm gonna go ahead and contact you on Facebook and get your email address so I can send you the PDFs that you choose. Don't choose the 2 that I've already given away for free, because you can get those for free too. So pick some other pages and then let me know what they are, and I will get those over to you. Okay guys, also just a quick plug again for the Sassy coloring group. We are having a Christmas in July event all today, and I am the artist today. So hop on over to Facebook if you have a Facebook account, and go ahead and sign up for the event. And then I'm going to be doing some other fun little games and prizes. So don't miss out on the fun. I'm really excited about today, and I hope that you guys have an awesome day and a great weekend too. Okay, if nobody has any other things that they want to add, I'm going to wrap it up here today. We are just over an hour on the live stream. Thank you again, guys, for participating in the chat. I love hanging out with you. And yeah, if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you hit the notification bell, you'll also, I think, get the notifications for my scheduled live streams. I'm going to try and start scheduling them more often so that way people can have a heads up. So yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit the like button, so that way more people can see this video. And as always, I hope that you have a wonderful, magical time coloring. Bye!